Hey everybody! We're going to make some soup today, healthy potato leek soup, and talk about peace, self-love, and nurturing self-care. My name is Dory with the Cauldron of Crafty Creations. Alexa, stop. And I forgot to turn the music off before we got started. So I would love to know if you are watching live, where you're calling in from. If you are, I'll switch this to the other side in case anybody wants to comment there so I can see comments on both Facebook and YouTube simultaneously. We like to double dip around here, do it all at the same time. All right, so I'm just going to peel off an outer layer a little bit, chop the tops off, dice these babies up, get some gorgeous healthy leeks chopped up and into my cauldron where I'll be brewing up some healthy potion for myself. Healthy potato leek soup. We're going to cut up a couple of leeks, a couple of onions. Then we'll get those going on the stove with a little bit of olive oil. And then we'll start chopping potatoes. So I am having a great day. I went to bed super early last night because I was totally exhausted. Fell asleep very quickly. Started listening to a new audiobook. Oh my goodness. Feeding Your Demons. I do not remember the author's name, but the book is phenomenal. My dear friend and client, Miss Luna, recommended that one to me. And started listening to it last night. When I sometimes I like to fall asleep to an audiobook. And so I went and started listening to that one after Luna had recommended it last week. I had checked it out and I just hadn't been in the mood for an audiobook for a while. I'm going to save these. I'm going to plant them and see if I can grow my own leeks. So do a little bit of in-home gardening. I rent and I don't have a spot really to garden outside, which we have so many deer in our neighborhood. I don't know that anything would survive. They'd eat everything before I could get to it, which would, they were here first. I mean, somebody asked me about the deer and I was like, oh yeah, they own the place. I'm just renting. So there are always deer around, which I love. I'm surrounded by nature and I've got these gorgeous spruce trees. So that's kind of the extent of plants outside, but I do have a bit of a garden inside and I'm looking to expand that a little bit. So I'm just going to dump these ones that I've chopped into my pot. I saw a video on Instagram, I think, with somebody making potato leek soup, and I was like, man, I haven't made potato leek soup in decades. But it's so good. And, of course, when I used to make it, I would put cream in it, which we won't be doing this time. Though I do have cashew milk, and I also have cashews, which I could make some cashew cream to go in it, which would be amazing. But the potatoes really make it pretty creamy themselves if you blend it up. So I've got an immersion blender. Hey, Susan! Good to see you. Hope you're having a good day. So if you're watching, and let me say hello and tell me how you're doing today. Having a good day, I hope. So I went to sleep nice and early last night, and then I woke up 3 o'clock in the morning to go to the bathroom, and I was like, we're going back to sleep. And of course, Spirit was like, no, you're not. You're going to get up and get some work done. I was like, seriously? Come on. So I got up and meditated and did some crafting and did some work on my St. Patrick's Day printable. Glad you're doing well, Susan. I miss you. We need to chat soon, or even an in person. Maybe next time you're in town, you can come over for some tea or something. Love to see you and get a good Susan hug. Oh, goodness. chopping up these leeks. Oh, they smell so good. Like I said, it's been a long time since I have made potato leek soup, so I am looking forward to making this. So the recipe that I saw was just leeks, onion, potatoes, and broth. And I don't do broth. I do water and like garlic and onion powder because broth always has sugar in it. So as I'm getting up into these, I'm finding some dirt. So I may have to go wash them out, rinse them out before I put them on the stove. But we can get everything chopped first, or get the leeks and onion chopped first anyway, and rinse them before I start cooking. Oh, goodness. Something made a noise over there. Oh, boy. So, I could make my own broth, but I just add water and some extra seasoning, and it ends up being yummy broth that way. So, less steps. I have a friend of mine was telling me how she makes bone broth in her Instapot, and so I was gonna try that, and I just never get around to it. So and then I go to make something, and I just, like I said, I just add there's just a few of these that have some dirt on them, so I'm just gonna pull those ones out and like just rinse those before I put them in the pot with the rest. Yeah, so I just add extra seasoning and with the water, and it ends up being delicious. And then it's all just one step. I try to simplify as much as I can because, just sometimes it's too much for me to try to do more than the simplified version. So yeah, when my blood sugar kept skyrocketing, I was looking at ingredients and everything, and I saw how much sugar was in, like even the organic bone broth had a bunch of sugar, and I was like, okay, that's ridiculous. And of course, so much bouillon, and unfortunately the better than bouillon stuff all has gluten in it. You can get gluten-free bouillon, but it usually is quite pricey, and so it's easier just to add a bunch of there's an idea. Make your broth, put it in ice cube trays. Oh, that's an idea. For a while, I was saving my vegetable scraps, and I actually twice have gone so far as to put the vegetable scraps with water in my Instapot. And both times, like I have some pretty debilitating anxiety with certain things, and somehow like cooking new things just kind of sets my anxiety on fire from time to time. And so literally like didn't even get it out of the Instapot in time to like use it before it went gross. So decided maybe that just isn't the way for me to go. So but like yesterday I made beans in the Instapot. I did my chickpeas and pinto beans with a bunch of cumin and some garlic and some onion and a bunch of water. Made them from dried. So I got a pot of beans, which I had with some of my quinoa left over from my disastrous quinoa cooking adventure the other day when I forgot to add the extra water and the quinoa burned. My house still smells a little burnt when you go outside and come back in. So eat the top layer of that quinoa. Bottom's gonna have to go in the garbage. But I had some of the leftover quinoa with beans yesterday. Beans by themselves, and then later had beans and quinoa together. Healthy and delicious, nutritious and delicious. All right, so there's my 3 leeks chopped up. Now we'll do some onions. Add those to the cauldron. So, yeah. Love making soup, and I love that vegetables cooked into soup, oftentimes you just can't even like tell that you're eating vegetables, right? Like it's just like healthy, it's just this like delicious bowl of goodness, and it's so healthy because I put all these veggies in. And I think I'm gonna add some beans to add some protein to the soup. So I've got like a can of, I think I have a can of cannellini beans and a can of chickpeas. And so I'm thinking about putting those in and, letting those kind of blend up with the potatoes, and just to add a little bit of extra protein to the goodness, to the soup. And trying to think, I don't think I have any. I was trying to think if I had any other veggies that I could put in there since I'm going to blend it up, but I don't think I have any others. I might have to go get more potatoes because I don't know if I have enough potatoes, but if I do, it's not a big deal. I can just go. Got to get a few groceries today anyway, so I'm going to start my sourdough starter one of these days too. Today might be a good day to do that. Let's see how the day unfolds. I've got work to do for one of my clients and a healing to reschedule with another one. So may do a healing session, and I have a couple tutoring sessions today. So we will see how the day goes by. And I am making bookmarks, St. Patrick's Day themed bookmarks to give away for Spread Goodness Day tomorrow. And I'll continue giving them away. All right, good to see you, Susan. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Let's chat soon and get together. So, Alexa, no. Oh, goodness. So, making my yummy, healthy soup. And thanks, Susan. You too, honey. Good to see ya. All right. So, we'll get some onions chopped up, and then we'll get this cauldron on the stove and get it brewing, or get it sauteing first. I like my onions and stuff nice and translucent before I add the broth and other ingredients. So, got some garlic I need to roast too. I like to put my garlic in with a bunch of olive oil, and I'm going to put rosemary with it this time, and cook it super low and slow in the oven or the air fryer, and make the garlic confit. So good. And then you have your roasted garlic and your garlic infused olive oil. So that'd go well in the soup. So get some of that going so it can go in put roasted garlic in the soup when I get it, once I get it all up and going too. So I like garlic. I love roasted garlic. And some people joined and watched my meditation and talk about peace the other day. And, peace is something I've been passionate about my whole life. And it's, kind of my mom's legacy too, because her favorite things to do is flash the peace sign. And so I'm going to start doing regular meditations for peace. And, there's so much going on in our world, and humans are capable of so much better than a lot of what we're seeing going on. And so I'm calling for people to stand up for peace with me and, start. Peace is an inside job, really. Like, it starts with us. It starts with our relationship with source, with our relationship with ourselves, with our relationships with those who are close to us. And the more loving kindness we put into ourselves and the world around us, like our small corner of the world, that has a huge ripple effect on the rest of the world. And so, it's really something that I want to be focusing on and talking about in my videos and my posts. And I invite you to kind of, look for ways that you can look for ways that we can bring more peace into the world, and there are those times when something happens, somebody says something and you get upset. And those, I'm not saying that we need that anything about like toxic positivity or not honoring our emotions. Of course, we need to honor our emotions and even having those difficult conversations. But doing so in a way where we express those emotions and get them out kind of privately, whether that's by ourselves in our journal, doing sacred rage, screaming events with my friend Tasha. There's all kinds of productive, healthy ways to work through your anger. And then, having those difficult conversations with the people you love in respectful, peaceful ways. And I talked through something with my therapist on Monday that I still need to have homework for myself to write about it, and then a conversation to have with somebody. But when we can take those painful moments and that anger, and we can channel it and use it, of course we need to feel those emotions and give them their the attention that they're calling for, and listen to what they're trying to teach us and tell us. Because, if we don't process those emotions and let them out, they end up trapped in our bodies. And there's this great book that a friend of mine recommended called Emotions Buried Alive Never Die. And it talks about how those emotions are going to get trapped in your body, and they manifest into dis-ease. And so things that are happening in our bodies and our life are symptoms of this, those emotions that we didn't express or let out. And, especially like little boys are told not to cry, and children are told, that you have to be nice and you can't get angry, and, and things like that. And so, so many of us were kind of raised in a society and in families. Like, I wasn't allowed to express my anger and over what was happening to me. And I was terrified to tell anybody about what my dad was doing, because he told me he killed my mom. And, that's not, of course that's traumatic. And so of course I buried that stuff and hid it, not only from the world, but from myself. So I didn't even remember that I had gone through it. And, and so of course I have to process those emotions, and we all do. And once we allow those emotions to move through and let go of them, work through them, it's amazing what kind of miracles we can work in our life, whether it's healing physical ailments. I mean, a big part of the blood sugar issue I was having was 7-year-old Dory, who was stuck in my pancreas and bitter, and went in and got her out of there and gave her the love and attention she needed, and brought her into the magic garden in my heart, and gave her a loving, wonderful father. And Archangel Michael stepped up to do that, and was able to heal that diabetes at the root of the problem. And so then even after my mom died and I went back to the old habit of binging on sugar, my blood sugar barely went up because I had healed my pancreas, and it's actually functioning and doing its job again because I healed those emotions. And so, just when we look at wanting to have peace in the world and wanting for a ceasefire in Gaza and wanting, peace and harmony for Ukraine, the way that we can do that is making peace with ourselves, making peace with our bodies, making peace with those in our life, the people that we spend the most time with, and whether that's, family, a partner, children, parents, co-workers, friends. The way that we handle those relationships in our lives has a ripple effect on the entire world. And it also has a ripple effect within our body and our own health. So just some thoughts. And so I just finished chopping the last onion I'm going to do for the soup. So I am going to say goodbye and get this cauldron on the stove. So thank you so much for watching, and I would love to know how you are taking care of yourself, participating in self-care and nurturing yourself, and spreading peace today. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Do something today that brings you joy, sets your soul on fire, and follow your bliss. Bye now.